Your Creative Push, episode 98.
The way is very, very long. It's long and you never can see the end of the way. But never give up, never. Because if you really want to do it, you can do it.
Welcome to Your Creative Push, the podcast that pushes you to pursue your creative passions. I'm your host, Youngmin Brown, and my guest today is Marta Bevacqua. Marta, aka Moth Art, is an Italian photographer based in Paris. She is mainly a fashion photographer, but she continually works on her own personal artistic projects, which range in varied fields of photography, but almost always concentrating on people. And not just people, but emotive models in natural environments, which offer a wonderful merging of the beauty of the natural world with the beauty of humanity. And Marta, that's what I think is so striking about your photography, is that your art, it shows us something very familiar, but it almost feels like that kind of beauty is something that is like in our DNA, but we lost, if that makes any kind of sense. Like it's gone almost, and that your photography kind of brings it back to us, like this familiar feeling. Am I making that up, or is that something that you kind of attempt to do?
No, yes, it's something I attempt to do. What I try the most to do with my photography is like telling stories that everyone can imagine. So these are very simple stories. It's not real stories, not the real stories of the people I portray. It's just something that the viewer can imagine as he wants. It's like a free moment. Everyone can see what they want. In other worlds, imaginary worlds, that's what I like to do.
So for almost everybody that looks at it, the attempt is that they'll have a different story to tell?
Yes, exactly. And also the same viewer can imagine a story one day, and then maybe after a week, he can imagine another story. So it's also something that depends on the inner feelings of the moment. What I like to do is try to put the viewers in another world, in a dreamy world, a surreal world. So it's very simple, and it's nothing. It has nothing to do with the real world. In some ways, yes. That's why it's very simple to imagine stories.
Yeah, and that's kind of the beauty of art, right? That's the whole purpose of it, is to escape from what we're kind of going through and to go into this imaginary world as you described.
Yes, exactly. And also, and it's not only just seeing it. Even when you create this, it does the same effect on me. So that's what I love the most to do.
What do you like the most about your photography? Is it what you yourself are able to kind of feel from what you have created, or do you prefer the feelings of what other people get from it?
In real, it's absolutely the perfect mixing of the two.
Yeah. Because
like I do the art mainly for myself, of course, but I also do it to make it viewed by someone. So if it can give feelings to me and also to the others, then it's a personal goal for me.
Absolutely, and I think you do it quite beautifully. I think, almost every single one of your images that I see is just, I could almost write, because I'm a writer not by trade, but that's my creative endeavor is writing. Okay. And I feel like every single picture that I see, I could write a story, like an entire almost novel about each of the images. They are, it's just one little snapshot of time, but I think you just capture so much in it that it's just like an entire novel or series of novels that could be created from it.
Thank you so much.
That's so great. Well, kind of getting back to that, where did you get your start? How did you first start doing photography? Can you tell us that story?
Yes. Well, I grew up in the country near Rome, in the south of Rome, Italy. And I think I started also because I lived into nature for all my life. It's where I just got a real appreciation for nature. And I started just by chance, just taking a camera in my hands. So I really didn't know what I was doing, and I just started taking photos of flowers, trees, and something like that. So I just really started because I was living in the country and not in the big city. And then I started taking portraits of me and my sisters, and then my friends. And step by step, I just started, and things just arrived step by step, really slowly, and also by chance, because something just happened, and I just followed the opportunities. And then I understood it was becoming a big passion until it became also my job. So it was just, everything was very slow at first, even because I really didn't know what I was doing. It was just not a joke, but yes, just something to have fun, something for having fun, nothing more. And then it became my life. So, but I think everything started because of nature, because of the plants, the flowers, the tree, and the place I grew up.
And would you have any suggestions for anybody that doesn't do photography yet, that wants to kind of go out into nature? They want to maybe take the camera and go out into the forest or the beach or anything in the natural world. Would you have any advice for them
Yes,
to kind of get started?
absolutely. The fourth thing is to not hurry up. For me, in my opinion, when I was in nature, in the woods, or also at the beach or something like that, the main thing is that you can just sit and watch. Basically, photography is drawing with light, so light changes every time. Each minute it can change. So it's just observing very in all the details, the little changings of light, and then try to catch them up in the photos in a slow way, because it's that one that makes the difference, maybe, because light is slow and so is nature. Each movement is slow, so just take the time to observe and then understand which light is better to portray, and so on. So just watch and then take the time to watch it.
Yeah, and in that way you can enjoy it a lot more too, just by kind of being calm and not
Yes,
being
exactly.
panicky and trying to, get the perfect shot. It's kind of just enjoying the whole
Yes,
process of
exactly.
it.
Even because at first, if when I also now, after some years, I work. If I don't have a client behind the photos I'm doing, it's just maybe a personal project. I don't. I'm always try to not think to do the perfect shot. If I don't have good photos after the shooting, it's okay, because first of all, it's just enjoying the shooting itself. It's not like doing the perfect shot. It's just enjoying.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about anyway, is, even if you go out and spend a day in nature and
Yes.
with your camera and don't get any good shots, you spent the whole day in nature, you got to spend the whole
Yes,
day
exactly.
outdoors and enjoying
And also it's a good opportunity to understand better the light.
Mm-hmm.
More you understand about the light, and more you will be able to do good shots.
So the understanding the light that just comes naturally from experience.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And what is the meaning behind moth art?
Well, in real, it's not a very important meaning, but I discovered photography through DeviantArt. It's a website, a website of photography sharing. Even there are also drawings and some other stuff. I still use it because it was my first website, but it's not my most important website right now. I'm not following it very much.
Yeah.
But I started on DeviantArt. And so when I decided to join the website, I had to choose a username. I really didn't know what to put, because it was like just for fun. It wasn't my job. It wasn't my passion yet. So it was just, okay, what can I put? What can I put? And I decided Moth Art, because my favorite book is The Golden Compass of Philip Pullman.
Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah.
In the first 2 pages of the book, the first animal that appears, it's a moth. And that's why I decided to put Moth Art.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say anything about the book, just because you should read it, and that's it. So I don't want to tell pieces of the story or something like that. But it was because of The Golden Compass by Philip Pullman.
Yeah, no spoilers. Yeah, I can completely relate. When I started my blog 10 years ago, Youngman Brown is not my real name. My real name is Michael Young, but
Okay.
that Youngman Brown is my pen name. So very much like your Moth Art to Marta Bevacqua, that's Youngman Brown to Michael Young, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
But it sticks, you know, like you come to love it and it's like a part of your, I don't know, it's part of your art identity.
Yes, even part of my background also, because yes, everything
Sure,
started by I don't
sure.
know. It even started from the moment I've chosen that name, so it's kind of important right now.
Yeah, it's a part of you. So I can definitely relate and I appreciate that. So were there any things that, like, when you first started doing photography, when you first kind of dipped your toes into it, that kind of held you back a little bit, or maybe some things that still do hold you back a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. Well, it came especially when I decided I wanted to make it as my job.
Hmm.
I just realized it was yes, my biggest passion, and I could do anything else in my life. Then it started to be quite difficult because I was waking up in the morning very early, in fact, and I was just asking myself, okay, what should I do to do the photographer? And I had no idea. I had no contacts. I had nothing, and so it has been quite difficult at the beginning. I was just falling a bit into depression because I really had no idea what I could do. And so I just started to do a lot of photos. Like for the first periods, I just took like 50 photos per day, 50 final photos. So like for the shooting itself, I even don't remember how many photos I took. And I just took photos every day. And it helped me a lot because I was just doing what I wanted to do, but no money and nothing. And so step by step, I just got the first contacts, and then I understood what I had to do. And it was just trying to ask suggestions, contacts to everyone. So if, for example, a friend just told me, was telling me like, hey, I know someone who is kind of doing the photographer. It's not fashion, it's not art, but for example, it's still life. Maybe you can have a chat with him. And I was, yes, absolutely, yes. And then I went, I talked with them, and step by step, it is like this that you take the first contacts if you have nothing in your hands. And so step by step, things changed and things arrived also. But it was very difficult for the first year because I had really no idea of what I could do.
Yeah, that's very brave of you. And would you say that it's good then when you're first starting out to say yes to almost every opportunity that comes
Absolutely,
your,
yes.
yeah.
Absolutely, yes. Even if it is not exactly what you want to do in photography, because there are many kind of photography. So even if it's not exactly what you want to do or what you like the most, it's important to go and try everything. So I also experienced a lot of different kind of photography, and that's what helped me also to understand what I prefer to do.
Yeah, you get to see all different types of photography, or, you know, for other people doing other types of art, you get to get a sample of many different things and really
Yes.
develop your taste. But you also get to learn about what you hate too, you know, like,
Yes, exactly. I know perfectly what I hate right now. And I
good.
also know what I really can do. For example, reportage, I understood is not my thing. I love it, but I really don't know how to do it. So I'm not good at it. For example, I know also this. I know what I can do and what I can't do, and I know what I love to do and what I hate.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah, that's what's really important to do. And it's also what's important to do just in life in general, like to do like a really crappy job, like, I don't know, like
Yes.
flipping burgers, or, I
Yes.
don't know, something like that
I
too.
did a lot of jobs at first. When I
Sure.
started to do photography, I experienced a lot of other jobs not related to photography, and also it also helps to understand yourself. I mean, it's like yes, you can understand better yourself.
Sure. And it can help to motivate you to realize that this is not what you want to do, you know, like to help you to realize that the art, the photography, whatever it is that drives you, that you're really passionate about, to just help like build that fire to realize that this other thing is just, it's just you don't want to be there.
Yes, yes.
Well, kind of going along with that, do you have a worst moment or a hardest time that you've experienced with photography?
Yes. Well, when I moved to Paris, it was 2 years and a half ago, and I experienced just exactly the same thing I experienced my first moments in photography. I came here alone, and I spoke no French at all, and I knew anyone, and I had no contacts to work. So I just came here just okay, let's go and try. Why not? So I just experienced exactly the same things, but with the difference that I knew how to move a bit better because I was already working in Italy, so it was a bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
And I just did exactly the same thing. So each person, each possible contact, I went there and spoke and talked with them and tried to have even some suggestions, some opinions on my photos. It helped me a lot. And my first month in Paris, yes, that was maybe the worst moment because I couldn't speak. Because here in Paris, they don't want to speak a lot English, so you should really should to learn French if you decide to live here. And I was learning, but very slowly because I'm not very good in languages. And so I couldn't speak. I couldn't earn money because I had no contacts and had no job for the first moments. And just having a lot of problems with apartments, with my bank account, with everything in life. And so in that moment, I really thought, okay, maybe it's too much for me. Maybe I can't do it. But then I told myself, no, okay, Marta, you can do it. So I just remained here and I continued like this to talk with a lot of people and going around. Also, I was just exploring the city also to know it better, because if you know better the place where you're living, it kind of helps a lot. And then just things just arrived, so it worked actually.
Yeah.
But yes, that was not the best moment in my life, but yes, somehow it passed, and now everything is so cool here, so I'm happy.
Well, I have to say you have a beautiful accent of especially when you speak in English, of English, Italian and French. It's really interesting.
Okay.
I love it. It's so cool.
Thank you.
I'm sure everybody listening will probably agree, and they've probably been thinking it already in this first 15 minutes. Why Paris though? Why did you choose Paris?
Well, I started with fashion some years ago, and since I was living near Rome in Italy, normally in Italy it's not Rome the city of fashion, it's Milan.
Mm-hmm.
So I just did up and down Rome and Milan for about 1 year, 1.5 years, and I understood immediately that I need to move to work better, because it was not possible to do always up and down, even because the first jobs weren't paid. I was just starting, so it was quite difficult to be paid for each job and something like that. And so I understood, I need to move, but I didn't like Milan very much. I don't know, I don't feel the atmosphere of the city. That's why I decided not to go there. And then the other choices were Paris or London or New York. Well, New York, it is my dream. Yes, I would love to go to the United States, but it's quite complicated, especially because I was just trying to see if it could work. So I couldn't go so far. And it was quite difficult also for money and for having the visa and everything. And so, yes, Paris or London. And I just thought that maybe Paris is closer to my kind of style, to my kind of atmosphere, because I see London like more experimental, more underground, a bit urban. And my photos are, I don't know, I would love to do in fashion, high fashion, so haute couture and things like that. That's why I thought maybe Paris would be better for me. And I think I did the right choice, so it's cool.
Good. Well, and I think that's a really important lesson, is that just because you're supposed to go to a certain place, advertising people go to New York. If you're in movies, you go to LA, just because you're supposed to quote, supposed to go to a certain place based on what you do, that doesn't mean that you have to go there, especially if you go there and you just loathe it.
Absolutely not. I don't know if I want to stay here for the rest of my life. I'm ready to move again if I want to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really open to it. When people ask me, so you want to remain in France for the rest of your life? But no, I will see. I'm ready to move even tomorrow if I want. So once you move the first time, then it's so easy to move again. So it's cool because I feel very free to do what I want.
Good. That's the best. And I think that you should move to like Spain or something. I think you could use a little bit of a Spanish in your accent.
Yes. Why not?
Why not? Can you take us to your best or most triumphant creative moment? Do you have a story like that?
It was just when things started to work here in Paris. When I got the first jobs and I just understood how the city works and how I have to act with people and everything. When I just started to speak French also and everything like that. And when everything started to go better, I even had a positive changing in my photography style because everything. I mean, a lot of people always say that when people suffers a lot or a lot of problems, then they are able to create beautiful things or to create better. Like art can arrive only from suffering or from bad moments, but I don't think it's really right. I mean, I think maybe one of the best photos I took in my most beautiful moments. So yes, when things started to work, I think this was the best moment for me.
When the wheels get turning in one aspect, it seems like they get moving in another aspect too, and it's like all of a sudden the momentum begins to build and things really get moving, and that's a great feeling when you feel like things stop moving backwards and they start moving forwards. It's such a good feeling.
I just thought, okay, I can do it, so let's do it. And I started to work a lot. I started to work a lot on my personal projects too, because yes, I was sure I could do it, and that's why I was very positive, and it helped me a lot also in creating and yes, with a lot of things.
And you mentioned you took your favorite photo at that point. What photo was that?
Well, in real, I have many photos I love, so it's very difficult to say my favorite photo. I don't know, but I know that a lot of projects that I'm very proud of, I took them during that period. But in real, my favorite photo is a very old photo. Like I did it when I was in Italy, so a lot of time before moving to Paris, and it is a self-portrait of me with a lot of books. Because basically I am a big reader, and I also write sometimes. Books really represent me. It was just a self-portrait with me with a lot of books.
Very cool.
Maybe that's the photo that represents me at the best. But I did also another series during the best period here in Paris, and it's named the Great Story. And I just started it in a beautiful library here in Paris. It is the Shakespeare and Company library, and it's so cool. It's full of books, and it's so inspiring. And I just got the opportunity to do some photos inside with a very cool girl. And yes, maybe that was the point where I also understood what kind of photos I prefer to do in fine art field, of course. Also, always among books, so it's cool.
Very cool. What does your art, your photography, your creativity, what does that bring to your life?
Well, of course, happiness. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the fact that I made my passion being my job, this is a very personal goal for me. So in real, this is the main thing it just brings to my life. I just do what I love. It's one of the, I don't know, the most beautiful things it could happen to me. And so also the fact that right now I can just live doing the photographer in Paris. Yes, I think it just bring me exactly what I wanted to do, and it just bring me in the place I want to do. I want to be right now, just what I want to be, and just what I want to do.
Very cool. That's the dream that we all have, you know. A lot of the people listening, we have jobs, myself included,
Yes, I understand.
that are not aligned with, you know, our passions. So I think that's like kind of the end goal, the end dream. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
It really is a great honor to be able to, you know, to do that. So congratulations to you.
Thank you a lot. I feel very, very honored to be able to say that. I mean, it's yes, I'm also very lucky. I've been very lucky. I thank you. I thanks everyone and everything every day for that.
Yeah, well, you're lucky, but you're also very, very talented, and
Thank
you know
you.
that comes from a lot of hard work. So congratulations.
Thank you a lot.
Marta, it is time for the final push. And this is where I ask you to kind of reach through the microphone and grab the shoulder of one of the listeners that you've inspired today that's thinking, you know, maybe I can do this too, or maybe I need to get back to work. Just give them your best words of advice and push them into doing their creative passions.
Well, it's very simple. I think the first thing is having passions, because the way is very, very long. It's long and you never can see the end of the way, of the road. But never give up, never, because if you really want to do it, you can do it. It's not I don't think you need to change the world, or yes, changing the world maybe is difficult, not just realizing your dream. So just go on, never give up, and have a lot of passions, and always put a lot of effort in everything you do. And then slowly, step by step, it will arrive. But never give up, never.
Never give up. I love it.
Yes. That's what I repeated to myself through all the years. So it worked.
Absolutely. Every day, you got to tell yourself
Yes,
that.
exactly.
Just keep
Even
going.
because I'm not arrived. For me too, the road is long.
Yes,
Yes.
I hear you. Marta, thank you so much for coming on the show today and for giving us the push.
Thanks to you. It has been a pleasure.
And you can find Marta on her website, which is martabevacquaphotography.com. You can find her on Facebook at Marta Bevacqua Photography, and on Instagram, as well as Flickr and Behance, Marta Bevacqua. And we will have links to all those resources, as well as many more, at yourcreativepush.com/Marta, Marta. Marta, thank you so much.
Thanks to you.
Oh, that was so nice. I hope you guys got as much as I did from that episode. One of the really important lessons that I learned from Marta was, you know, just take your time. It's okay to take your time, especially when you're out in nature. You know, I think as creative types with busy schedules, sometimes we have limited time to be with our creative pursuit. And because of that, we kind of rush through the act of being creative. We rush through our projects because we know that there's only so many hours before we have to go to bed, or there's only so many hours before we have to go to work, before we have to pick up the kids from school, whatever the case may be. Because of our busy lives and the other things that surround our creative time, we try to get done as much as we possibly can during that time. And while it's good to, you know, push through and make sure we put out a lot of content, it's also really important to enjoy that time, you know, to relax, treat it like a break from your busy life, especially if it's not a business for you yet, especially if you're doing it for you, you know? So when you're going into your creative time today, hopefully right after this episode, just keep that in mind, you know, take a deep breath and just really be with your creative pursuit, whether it's art, photography, music, whatever. Just really enjoy it. Take the time to relax and just, you know, hang out for a little while. And this also goes for just your career or your lifetime pursuit of your creative passion. You know, just like Marta did, it was an experiment at first that turned into an interest, that turned into a passion, that turned into a goal, that turned into a career, that turned into a life, you know, and she kind of just let it happen naturally. I think a lot of times we try to push it. We try to get to this end goal like tomorrow, you know, but really these things take time. It takes a lot of time to build a portfolio, to build your talent, to build the knowledge that you have. especially as you continue to progress and you know that you get better because you look at your old work and you're like, wow, that was not as good as what I'm doing now. And what you do in a year is going to be better than what you do now. So just kind of let it naturally progress, relax about it, don't try to rush things, and just see where this, lazy river kind of takes you. But most importantly, just make sure you enjoy your creative time, because otherwise, what's the point? On tomorrow's show, we have Daniel Rolnick.
Art and creativity is the greatest thing in the world, and I want to be able to get to as many people as possible because, it's the way to disrupt your culture. It's the way to make a space yours. It's the way to really showcase your own personality. And if I can make that accessible to everyone, then everyone can show their personality and everyone can be unique. That's kind of my mission.
Daniel is an art blogger, an art critic, and the owner of the Daniel Rolnick Gallery. And he is epic! I think you'll really enjoy my conversation with him. He has such a great attitude and a great outlook on life. And he's doing something really, really special with his gallery. So it was really fun to sit down with him for a little while to really pick his brain on how he looks at art and what he does to make his gallery so special. But that is for you tomorrow. So hopefully you're inspired today to go and get your work done. So go and get it done. Thank you so much for listening and for sharing this out to the people that you think will also be inspired by it. You're helping this show to grow so much, and I can't believe we are approaching 100 episodes. It's so crazy. Have a great day. Be productive. Enjoy your time with your art or whatever your creative passion happens to be. And we will see you tomorrow if you need the push again.